Okay, we've seen a few of the easier and intermediate examples. And then here is probably the toughest. I just want to make sure that this is shown because it tends to become a problem. Let's see if I can give myself enough room. All right, so in the first problem we see, in number 7 here, we see that we're talking about the f function, and we're plugging in 2n minus 3 instead of x. So instead of x here, it'd be 2n minus 3. That means that 2n minus 3 goes here and here. This is the most common error in this type of a problem, is people now remember that they plug this thing in and they have to FOIL, which is kind of new. That was the big thing in the last video. But you can't forget that this is also an x in f of x. So 2n minus 3 would have to go in there as well. So just initially, when you plug it in, here's what it looks like. In parentheses, because x squared, so 2n minus 3 squared minus 4. And then x again, so we have to plug in 2n minus 3 again, plus 6. Okay. And then this is all just order of operations and just the algebra stuff. It looks really messy, but I mean, just take it a piece at a time. You know, what we're supposed to do first. So this first piece, it needs to be FOILed. So it's a good practice just to take it off on the side. You can, some people can do this in their head, and that's fine. But just write it again, so you can kind of visualize what it is we're distributing. So 2n and 2n is 4n squared minus 6n when you multiply 2n and negative 3. Our inside terms right there is negative 3 and 2n, so the same thing, negative 6n. And then our last terms, negative 3 and negative 3 is a positive 9. Adding like terms, you should get 4n squared minus 12n, like terms, plus 9. So that's what that first piece turns into. And we can rewrite that. I'll give myself a little bit more room. 4n squared minus 12n plus 9. And I'm not going to bother rewriting everything right now because the very next step is this distribution. So I may as well do that immediately. That's the next thing to do anyway. So this would be minus, so negative 4, positive 2n, multiplying. So minus 8n, or negative 8n. And then negative and negative here is going to be a plus 12. And the last piece was just a plus 6, so I can write that. So we have everything, you know, basically simplified. We just need to just line up some like terms and see what we get. It's a good idea to check our signs at this point, make sure we didn't make any mistakes. But you know, this would be a positive 9 up here because we did negative negative, so that's true. This is a positive 12 because of the negative 3 and the negative 4 that multiplied to it, and then 6 is there, so that's fine. So combining like terms, there are no other n squareds, so 4n squareds, good. There are a couple n's, and so these guys can be added together. So negative 20n, and then you have 3 of those without an n. So I guess the way that I think about this is I go 12 and 6 is 18, another 9 is 27. So 4n squared minus 20n plus 27. So this is a more rough example. These ones can get a little ugly, but it's just using a lot of the skills.